What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be telling you about why not only am I just selling the 4Runner, but also how I was able to buy both of my dream cars at 18 years old. So let's start off with my little Scion here. I've always wanted one of these cars ever since they came out back in 2013. And I work at a dealership, and this got traded in, and this got traded in really cheap. It was only like 5,500 bucks. And so after all the fees and taxes and stuff, I came out to about 7 grand on this. And what I've been doing is I don't really spend my money, I just save it, because what I've been wanting to do was I've been wanting to flip a car, because last summer I bought a Subaru really cheap and I made 5 grand on it, and that's how I paid this thing off. And so this thing was really cheap, and these things are worth, like, right now they're worth like 12, 13 grand. So I bought this, I was gonna flip it, but I've kind of fallen in love with it, so I'm just gonna have it for the summer. But that's the story with that. And then with this one, I've always wanted one of these. This is the only thing that would take me away from the 4Runner, is one of these in dark blue. After 6 months of waiting for one to get traded in, someone actually traded this one in, and after all the fees and the taxes, the out the door price was 6 grand. And for one of these right now, these are also worth around 12, 13 grand. So I'm into both of these for the price of just one of them. So that's a pretty cool position to be in right now. But you might be saying to yourself, well, you must have a loan for $13,000 to pay for both of these cars, right? Well, no, I bought them in cash. And that's because, one, I'm really frugal. Two, I live at home. I'm 18, live at home. I go to community college, so college is only a few $100 a semester. And I don't go out really. I don't party with my friends. I don't do any of that. I just save all my money. And I'm also kind of a hustler. So I work at the dealership, and then I also detail cars. And I also do any other odd job that I can get my hands on. And you know, that's really the secret. I mean, you just save all your money and I take any opportunity that life gives to me, and that's pretty much it. It's nothing too serious or anything. Oh, one last thing. I've also been saving for over a year for this. Ever since that Subaru last summer, I've been saving up to do it again. I've been driving this 4Runner around for over a year. It's a 20-year-old car, and I've just been saving for over a year. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience, it takes time, it takes just being frugal, saving, and eventually, if you save long enough, you can do it. You know, people like Dave Ramsey and even Rob Freddy from the Supercar Rentals, they say that if you just save your money, wait longer, you'll build up a lot more wealth, and then you can do whatever you want, because you're not, tied to, your credit score or a bank loan or whatever. If you can wait long enough, you usually can get what you want. You know, at the dealership that I work at, I see so many people coming in and getting loans on cars that they can't afford, and the cars that aren't even that great. They're like, like the cheap stuff they're used cars. So it's like, just why? And like, some people will spend more on a Nissan Versa than they will on both of these combined. And I'm just like, why are you doing that? And then they have bad credit, and they're getting like a 25% interest rate, and they're spending way overspending on a car. And I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, don't get a car like that. Get something old. You don't need to buy a brand new car. You need to get something that's, if you can't afford it, something older, something cheaper. This thing has 186,000 miles. It's a 2006, and it's beautiful inside. It's amazing. I mean, this thing has amazingly soft leather seats. It's got real wood trim, a banging stereo by Mark Levinson that no matter how loud you make it, it doesn't get distorted. It's got great visibility. It's really posh. It's got air suspension that goes up and down. And it was 6 grand. I mean, this is the softest headlight I've ever felt in my life. And it's so quiet, and it's so smooth, and it has a V8, so it's really fast. And it's just like, I don't understand why you go out and buy some little 4-cylinder, car that's got super plasticky interior and manual windows. I mean, you can have this for less money. I mean, this is the newest car I have. This is a 2013, and this just isn't as nice of an interior. I mean, this is kind of cheap plastic, but this isn't the worst I've seen. But this car, I bought it to flip, but this is this is a car about driving. This isn't a car about like, you know, hanging out. That's what the Lexus is for. But it's just like, you know, even like in Rob Friday's video, he talked about like he drives a $1,000 beater car, and even though he owns an exotic car rental company, because he just doesn't need that. And he's like, you know, these people go out and they have these $700-800 payments on a 3 Series BMW or a C-Class Mercedes, and you'll always be stuck in that cycle. But if you have a car that's paid off and it's cheap and you just drive that around, now you can save that like $9,000 a year you're spending on a car payment. And if you save that money instead, in a couple years, you'll have an amazing down payment on something way cooler than a 3 Series. The other reason why people buy newer cars is they say, well, what about maintenance? What if it's going to break down on me? Who's to say those newer cars don't? I see so many new Mercedes that are always broken. They're always in the shop, especially Chevys. They're always in the shop. They're always got something wrong with them. And you're always in a loaner car. And it's just like, you're not even driving the car you bought. You know, but other than that, I've had this thing for a year and a half. It's never left me stranded. It's never broken down on me. You know, I mean, this thing, it's just a regular Subaru motor. You need parts. Every Subaru has the same part in it. And this is just a Toyota. I mean, this is the same motor that's in the 4Runner and the Tundra. If you need parts, people say, oh, well, it's a Lexus. It's expensive parts. It's a 4Runner. That's all it is. You know, this is the same 4.7 that's in the Land Cruiser and in the Tundra and the 4Runner. You know, and the Sequoia. Like, come on. It's also just regular Toyota parts. So don't get scared by, oh, I need a new car, because your new car will break down on you. And your new car will also lose value. I bought these cars at the bottom of their value. They're only going to either stay the same, or maybe in this one's case go up a little bit because there's now some enthusiast community that wants this car. So, you know, don't get sucked into buying new cars. And I'm not lying about the enthusiast community. When I bought this thing for half of what it's worth now over a year ago, because now there's more and more people that want 4Runners. And so even though I've kind of put a bit much into it with all the modifications, the actual car itself, I'm going to come out on top when I sell it by a couple thousand, just because of how the market's changed.